Ludwig world order sucks at life. Suffer detractors. And if you think that's hypocritical, just remember, the hypocrisy is fucking based. It's okay when we do it.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to the show on DSP Reacts. This is something completely unprecedented, something the likes of which we've never, ever done here before. In my 16 years as a content creator, it is time for the first ever co-op React event. Live, we have thousands of viewers here lined up live. It's myself and these two gentlemen below, my guests from Keynote Casino. Everyone, please give them a hearty welcome here tonight on stream. Gentlemen, how are you?
We are tremendous.
You might say, what on earth would bring these three guys together, right? Like, I mean, a couple weeks ago, I had barely even heard of Keynote Casino. I didn't know anything about them. But, I mean, let's be honest, it's kind of fate, right? Because tonight we're going to be reacting to a documentary by June the King called A Rich History of Failure, covering the history of Review Tech USA here on YouTube. And boy, we couldn't be from more different positions. Okay, for me, I was the subject of this guy's bullying and ire on the internet for the greater part of a decade, despite the fact I don't know who the hell the guy was, and I tried to always kind of stay out of it. He always had my name in his mouth constantly. So now, after 10 years of basically holding my tongue, finally tonight, the camera gets turned back on the bully, and we
tonight
get
the
to take a look.
bully becomes the bullied.
Oh,
the hunter becomes the hunted. He thought that he was, he thought he was picking on somebody weaker than him. It was through the grace and the benevolence and the mercy and the maturity of one Philip Burnell here that you weren't destroyed years ago. Philip could have at any time crushed you like the worm that you are. But he was magnanimous. He was merciful.
Too nice.
He reached out to you when your family had a medical emergency. And how did you repay that kindness?
Spit on him.
With treachery. You disgusting worm dickers. Shame on you. We spit on you for your disrespect to the king, your treason against his royal majesty's business.
Now here's the thing. You guys could arguably be credited with the reason why this documentary on Rich was made to begin with. Because you guys covered him. I mean, Rich has been around for a long time, just like me. I've been around 16 years. He's roughly been around the same length of time on YouTube. But for some odd reason, despite the years of his behavior, the weird things he does, the guy never had the light brought on him. It was like he makes fun of everyone else, but no one ever was looking at this guy. Why? I just don't get it.
Well, that's
I was
why.
telling
He's low energy, uninteresting, stoned out of his mind, looking like a giant panda. This is what he is. Whereas you're an entertainer. You're a showman. You're charismatic. So there's a reason you captured the fascination of the public. You're a phenomenon.
True.
A phenomenon, so to speak, right?
But it's so true.
A boring slug.
Yo, Ashton, because it's true. Because Ashton brought like Review Tech to our show, and I was watching. I'm like, why? Like what? And he's like, trust me. The whole chat was like, I don't get it, Ash. What? And you were like, guys, when we uncover what I'm about to show you, you'll understand. And then as the episodes went through, we're like, he's actually evil, doxing, threatening children, going after,
trying to blackmail 16-year-olds into doing his bidding.
Jeez.
He has a Discord server full of unspeakable evil,
right,
lolicon in it.
Let's preface this by saying a couple things that should be important to call out before we begin, because already we're saying stuff about the guy and we haven't even begun with the documentary, right?
True.
So, number one, anything that is said in this stream or in this on-demand video is representative of our individual takes and opinions. Just because I say something doesn't mean that it represents what they mean. They say something doesn't mean I represent. We all are individuals. We're intelligent adults, and we're saying things for what we believe for ourselves. Please don't try to do that bullshit. Oh, well, he said that on a stream you were on, so now you say
exactly.
Get the hell out of here.
Said that.
Right?
No, we speak for each other, and we don't necessarily co-sign what each other says.
Exactly. Okay. Number two, please. Despite the fact that we're here to have fun tonight, okay? That's what it is. We're here to razz Rich, all right? None of us here tonight on this video wish pain or suffering or physical harm to Rich. please do not go harass this man as a result of things we do in this video. I
Do
don't
not
condone that.
Don't harass
you know?
him.
Don't do that, all right? This is enough harassment to make this video. We don't have to go after the guy and everything else.
Exactly.
This isn't harassment.
This is justice.
This is justice. This is
justice.
equal. This is equal opportunity razzing.
Wait,
For
hang on.
so long, he turned it upon others. Now it's being turned
Beyond
on
that.
him. And it's like, oh, no,
No, but
please.
beyond that,
It's your turn, Dickers.
he watches you every night, Phil.
I know.
His life is watching. Whenever you open it, he's watching you, stoned out of his mind for like 6 hours straight every night, and harassing you. You at least are like, guys, don't harass him. He didn't care about that. He was happy to see you in pain. He was happy to spit on you and walk over you when you were at your lowest. He was fine with it. And every day, guys, look, I'm not Phil. I'm not Phil. I'm not Phil.
And
This is the
even
payback.
Still, after all of that, Phil makes sure that everything is just right and nobody goes too far.
Exactly.
What a merciful, wonderful man Phil
Listen,
is.
because here's the
Phil
deal.
could just unleash it. You know,
I've been the
You
victim.
should.
All right,
Yeah.
of this kind of behavior before. And even though everyone should have equal opportunity to be talked about, ridiculed on the internet because you chose to put yourself out there, you don't take it to the next level. Everyone knows it's just supposed to be jokes. Sadly, there's people out there who don't know that line and they cross it, and that's when it gets too dangerous, and we do not condone that action. Okay?
Exactly.
Or,
Just
okay,
kidding,
we're about to
everyone's
start.
crazy.
We're about to start, but I have something that I'd like to introduce. Ladies and gentlemen, one night only, I present to you what's in the briefcase.
What's the case?
Well, it fell.
It's
Hold
like
on.
Pulp
It's
Fiction.
okay. It's okay. Watch, guys. Guess.
Yes. What could be in
Yes.
the briefcase?
It's
That
Pulp Fiction.
magnificent Phil, phenomenal Phil, has brought forward.
Whoa.
In the casino of life, you start full of chips, right? Where everyone walks in fully loaded. But over time, you mess up. And every time you mess up, you'll lose some of your chips. Tonight, as we go through the Review Tech documentary by June the King, we're going to see the times in history that Rich screwed up. And every time he made a mistake, oops, he's going to lose some chips. At what point will Rich be felted? Let's find out here live tonight on DSP
I love you.
Reacts. All right, I think we can get started.
With all that out of the way, let's get some donos and let's get started.
Let's do it.
All right.
Here we go.
Magic case.
All right, so here we go, everyone. Review Tech USA, June the King. By the way, everyone, go over to June King's channel, hit like on his video, watch it on your own time, and
Yes.
spread the word.
Already doing really well, by the way, the video. Like outstanding viewership. There was
Oh.
over 8,000 live viewers when it premiered today. I think it has almost 200,000 views already. It's going to be really successful for him, so good for him.
And yours truly is in the video a few times. Let's fucking go. All right. All right, here we go.
Today is a tragic case. One of instability where both ends of the emotional spectrum play against him.
Because you're dumb and your kids will be dumb.
Okay, that.
So that moment there comes from when Rich became political, which was a very poor decision on Rich's part. He just decided for whatever reason that apparently people who watched his video game takes really wanted to hear his takes about politics that are very ill-informed and ignorant, and just decided to alienate half of all of his viewers. It was really brilliant move there by Rich.
Phil, you could right-click the video and boost it up a little bit. You did it?
I just did, yep.
All right,
I
awesome.
just did.
You don't come to a stream for someone else's baggage.
By the way, there's the big tough guy, the big bully who goes after Phil, goes after other people, talks of shit. There he is crying like a little girl, crying like a little bitch because things on the internet didn't go his way, because he refused to pay his editor what he agreed to pay him, and people held him accountable. The worst thing for Rich is being held accountable, and the moment it happens, the tears begin. It's his only recourse is to cry like a big bald baby.
Well, let's be fair. The worst thing that happens to Rich is when he runs out of food.
Oh, man.
Indeed.
When he runs
Come on
out,
now.
there's tears.
You know what I mean?
These extreme reactions are coming out at the lowest point of his channel, which previously released
Did you see that?
highly
It's a
relevant, low
downward spiral, much like his mental health. His analytics are going straight down the toilet. Suffer, dickers.
Stop.
effort videos taking service level glances at gaming news or subjects parallel to gaming.
I love
Though
that.
this is no longer
Surface level takes. Just so true. Just giving him no respect. His decade of content, his legacy. All it was him just reading articles other people wrote and then giving the lamest, most basic lukewarm take. Isn't that right, Phil?
The first time I heard about this guy, someone had said to me, he's talking shit about you. I said, who? And I went and checked his channel, Review Tech USA. I'm like, where's the review of tech? There's nothing. This is all him reading news articles, or it's like drama, like TMZ shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is this relevant to even his name on YouTube? It's like a misnomer, right? Like he's trying to fool you into thinking he's one thing and he's another. And I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't understand why, you know, he changed. Was he ever a reviewer of tech? You know, and all he does is just read other people's stories and gives his take. Why is this getting 1 million subs?
What's sad about it is, like, there are applications, and he's admitted to using them, that just give you the news articles of the day. So he had them. He didn't even have to be an editor.
Even me, the guy who everyone
topics.
claims is the laziest dude on the planet. I sift through a bunch of stories in the morning to try to find ones that are going to be appropriate to my audience. A gaming article, something about pop culture we've been talking about recently. I don't just pull the fucking news off of an app and just slap it on my stream and just read it. You know?
Well, no, it's exactly. And he just, because he had no passion about it, it wasn't things he really cared about. That's why he found it difficult to keep it up over the years and got disillusioned, because he was just a slop maker. There's no love.
He was wrong about most of his takes. He would always have a take. Everyone would yell at him, and he'd have to make a video apologizing and doing the counter the take every time. And he was called out by Sony's president.
That, right? So that was part of his grift. You give this take that's obviously wrong, then you flip-flop and apologize, and you get to make money off the other side.
Off the apology, exactly right.
You make
Two
money off
videos.
the apology, right? So this is just the way he conducted business for so long, and people go, there's no talent to this. There's no art to this. This isn't like Darkside Phil cultivating a community over 15 years through original content and commentary. This is just an absolute bozo stealing content, repackaging it as his own. It's like a baby bird regurgitating.
Let's go.
Let's
see. I want to hear about how he started, because I know nothing about this guy's history. Let's hear.
Not a thing.
Now, Rich's focus is on streaming and producing music to little avail. He's either too subdued by intoxicants or dead air on the awkward
Yes, echoes. That's great. He's an echo
He
effect.
lost some more chips there, I think. But he
Stop
streams
getting
on
high.
intoxicant.
You gotta.
Rich, I'm not trolling when I say you need to pull it together. Stop getting high on your streams. Make them more organized and focused. Start actually making content with higher production value.
Wow.
This is the thing. Who else, because he considers this his job, who else is allowed to show up to their job high?
Right?
You know?
It's true.
Who else is able to just, you know what? I'm just
shot.
going to take, and not just even to smoke like a joint or something
Or a
like that.
bowl or
Or
whatever.
a bong
yeah.
hit.
Well,
He's
this is the
taking
difference.
medical grade edibles every day. Go ahead.
Some people take it seriously, and some people act like, well, it's my hobby, but because I'm doing it publicly, pay me for my hobby. And that's what it is for him. Just pay me for my hangout session instead of pay me for work. Listen, you got to put in the work if you're expecting to get compensation for it.
And that's the thing. You work 6 days a week, much like our Heavenly Father, our Creator, who worked 6 days and rested the one. You follow that model, Phil.
Yes, exactly.
You follow that model, 6 days of work, 1 day of rest, highly biblical and righteous, the way you have that work ethic. Whereas Rich, you'd be lucky if you get one stream a week out of him, and he shows up high.
Well,
And he can't even open his eyes. Look at his eyes. They're
there's
closed.
no segment. There's no segments. It's him sitting there stoned as hell. There's no even work.
What do you mean
when
there's
he is
no
streaming.
segment? There's the Phil segment.
Oh,
There's
Right.
the one and only
What,
segment.
Phil?
That's it.
He has the Phil segment.
The one
Now,
return segment.
Has he edited it down? Has he created his own edited Phil?
They clipped it or whatever.
No. He's just stolen whatever duties put up.
All right.
streams are sober and anxious, lashing out at those he feels have wronged him, like his former editor,
By
Jay.
the way, we've only watched 40 seconds of this doc, and you've made more than Rich has made all year today.
You know what? And you know what? That's fine, because quite frankly, no matter what I make on this stream tonight, he has talked about me so much. He's probably made literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on my back. So now
True.
it's time to get some of that back, right?
We're
I mean,
paying it
Yeah,
back.
yeah, we're paying it back.
back.
Yes,
As
exactly.
you so richly deserve all the hard effort and work you've put in over the years, sir.
Hey,
You're the sidekick everywhere you go. You couldn't cut it. That's why you became my editor.
Rich's self-destruction has also unearthed a history of
That's
doxing.
sick, you know? The way he talks about a guy who he was friends with for 15 years, who did all that work for him, who filled in for him while his daughter was sick in the hospital, and he, you know, that's how he talks about that guy, by the way.
A channel named Review Tech USA began uploading. This was Rich Masucci's, an American man with a tech background, often interjected his own stories with the devices. The same could be said about his other videos that range widely on topics. This one was playing into a stereotype that women enjoy being on the phone longer. This video, though titled Is Steve Jobs Dying?, was really about Rich's experience with Apple products and the history of Apple.
That was his first clickbait. Like,
Yeah.
Is Steve
Late-
Jobs dying?
blatant clickbait.
Though-
Wow.
It's just full-on clickbait. It's
And it
what he's
earned him a
always
whopping
done.
9,000 views. I mean, it was worth it, man. He made like
Totally
$5.
worth throwing all his credibility down the river and being known as a clickbait artist from that point on. It was totally worth it, wasn't it, Dickers?
Those looking to find facts would scarcely find it on this channel. This could
People-
work to
oh,
Rich's
what a
benefit.
thing to say! People who were looking for facts would scarcely find it on this channel.
Wow.
That's another felt there for Dickers. Straight up. You can tell June has zero respect for revenge.
You got to think of it this way. If you're going to name yourself something, you're now stuck with that forever. So
Yeah.
if you're going to be a content creator, either be prepared to make that content or else don't name yourself that. I mean, I have a generic name, Dark Side Phil. No, it does, I mean, yeah, it kind of sounds like Star Wars, but no one comes to my channel looking for Star Wars. Like, oh, what's this guy all about? If I named myself Game Reviewer Connecticut, people would come, oh, it's game reviews from a guy in Connecticut. I mean, use your fucking head.
Exactly. Yeah.
He was very opinionated and confident in what he was saying. This means he had much to say and many videos to make, evident by his catalog. And after about a year or so of content creation, his beliefs had become established. Rich was a fan of console gaming, believing it was superior because of its ease of access and affordability against PC's customizability that also lends to its complexity. Taking a side in this never-ending debate meant that his opinions resonated with those that preferred consoles, and those audience members would become easier fans of Rich.
You all have a good holiday, and I will, even though I am owned, I will still put this video up on my YouTube channel
Oh, he's
because
owned.
they wouldn't be right of me not to do it. So
And he has to upload his failure. Yes, I'll upload this
Well,
too.
many times he's forced to just hold that L in the most brutal of ways. Just ram it down his throat. Take
You're gonna
it.
upload your L,
Take
right?
that BBC L, Rich.
At least I will give him some credit. He did upload it, right? It's public. That's and I come from a Street Fighter background, right? Win, lose, you always fess up if you won or lost. Like I had some rivalries with guys back in the early YouTube days, and one guy I beat and one guy I didn't. But all that footage went live. You know, you got to take your lickings. So at least your lickings. You got to take your licks. So at least I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the cucumber.
He's
You know,
looking at that BBC.
exactly. At least he did upload it. I'll give him that.
Okay.
a good one, man. It was great talking with you. And everyone-
While things were cordial between BBC and Rich, they were not exactly friendly. At least not in the same sense of the channels that were promoting Rich's channel on their own YouTube pages like 3 Kilobytes, specifically Mike and Jay.
And I'm Jason for 3 Kilobytes. My last name is Hoof, and I like to build houses in Minecraft.
Whenever Rich hit a milestone, like a subscriber goal or obtaining YouTube partnership, which meant he could earn ad revenue from his YouTube videos, he made sure to thank these channels.
They've helped me out big time, especially Jay. I communicate with him the most, and thank you so much, man. Honestly, the reason I hit 1,000 subs, the second half of it is mostly due to his help. And of course, as
Just thinking about that Jay really helped him from the very beginning of his career. Then
Yeah.
he wouldn't have really gotten any traction at all, by Rich's own admission, if it hadn't have been from Jay from 3 Kilobytes helping him.
Wow.
So
And
I did
then-
find that interesting.
And then in hindsight, I'm gonna destroy your career. You won't work in this town again. Like, you know what I mean? No gratitude at all.
Saying,
It's really
what did he
sick.
say at the beginning? He was like, "Oh, you could never be successful" and stuff like that. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
you are the success. He worked for you. That's why you're
Yeah.
successful. And you say stuff like that.
I honestly had no idea that Review Tech knew Jay this early on.
Yeah.
By 2011, things were going well for Rich. Not only was he earning some revenue from his channel, he was remaining somewhat consistent and fair with his losses, going as far to release a video titled "I Can't Defend Consoles Anymore."
Right now, folks, I know a lot of people are going to jump below and write comments saying they can't build a PC, or it's too hard, or it's too technical. No, it's not.
This was inspired by the infamous hacking of the PlayStation Network.
What a silly take to do in the first place. I can't defend consoles anymore. Well, there are exclusives on consoles, right? Like, especially back at that time, there were a lot more exclusives for consoles. Right. And there's just something to be said about that ease of use. Right. That you just plug it in, it works, you put the disc in, it plays the game. Nowadays,
there's nothing wrong with arguing that either a console or a PC is better, but it's situational. Each has its own unique pros and cons. That's why the debate has been for so long. There's no definitive answer that one is always better than the other. You know, I'm someone I've had gaming PCs, I've had consoles, I've used consoles for 10 years, but now I have a gaming PC and I love it. So, you know, I get it. I get both sides. That was silly to put himself into that argument, but you know what? Because he was trying to get controversy. Why do you think he wanted that debate? To get him more attention.
Exactly, and that's the whole reason why he made that video, changing his view on the first place. He's like, oh, it's so shocking, he changed his mind on it, and then he just get people to click on it. Exactly. Right? So it's not motivated by what his true opinion is, it's motivated by what opinion he thinks will get him the most clicks.
Exactly.
Network that effectively brought the online services down for months. Though he did not abandon the videos on the debate, as this was still one of the largest draws of his channel. These were alongside clickbait videos that were presented outwardly.
12 years ago, by the way. Just look at that.
Of his channel.
Watch this video. These were game consoles have one generation left. Like, what a title, you know? It's over.
It's like, by the way, we're at 2 generations from that point on already.
He is the master of doing this. Well, again, the first time I ever heard about this guy, someone says, you got to go check it out. Did you see the video he made about you? I go to his channel. This was like 9 years ago, right? Title of the video, Dark Side Phil is dying. Look at the plummet of his business. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Why is he saying this shit about me? I'm fine. My business isn't dying. Like, what is he even, you know, because, you know, at one point.
That's be a take that aged the most poorly of any take ever.
Yeah.
You're one of the longest running channels out there. But go ahead, Phil.
It must be the most prolonged death ever if I'm truly dying. It's been 9 ongoing years. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Alongside clickbait videos that were presented outwardly as his research, to then be revealed that Rich was reading from a singular article while interjecting some of his opinions.
So he just steals one article, not even like multiple articles and research. No, just one article.
His channel covered a wide range of topics, now even adapting the commentary tropes of the time, like commentary over footage of an unrelated game. Because of the undistilled nature of this channel, his views were hardly consistent. Most videos hovered around 5,000, but some reached hundreds of thousands of views. What Rich wanted was a new high-definition camera. This is what inspired the video, I Need Your Help, which has long since been removed from his channel, but archived third-party compilations that demonstrate how catastrophic not so much this video was, but the endless responses and poor handling of what should have been a simple situation.
No, really.
Yes, I know I'm going to be called an e-beggar.
So, Phil, if you needed money for a new camera, what would you do? Wouldn't you just ask for the money?
Well, I mean, yeah, if it's something that's directly for the business, you know, I would. In fact, let me put it this way. There are things that I've wanted to upgrade, but I tell people I'm not even going to put it upon you guys because I know that you guys are so generous already. I don't want to ask more of you. If anyone wants to donate, by all means, but I'm not going to sit here and run a marathon to try to raise money for a specific component because I think that's asking too much of people who already give me a good living.
I know.
You know what I mean?
You just stream, right? Just stream, work, and then eventually you'll save enough to buy the camera, right?
Get ready for this convoluted scheme from Rich.
Yeah, and we have an actual add-on to this that wasn't in, I'm in the doc, but watch this.
No matter what I say. But I'm doing this with a twist that no one else has done because I don't just want your friggin' money. I really don't. I honestly don't.
Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't want your money. He's just gonna ask for your money.
A twist.
You
I'm going to
know?
put you in a series of saw-like traps to save your life if you don't pay me for this camera. He sounds like a fucking supervillain or something. What's he talking about?
What do I need? I need a camcorder for the show, straight up. Using gameplay footage, I'm constantly dealing with getting copyright claims on my videos.
Rich goes on to explain how he would avoid the title e-beggar by donating the $500, which is the amount he was seeking for the camcorder, a year after he receives the funds to a charity of his audience choice. What's
Pause.
more, if the donation goal is exceeded, he will refund any of that excess money.
Thoughts, Phil?
So he's going to do a fundraiser to get a camera. That's directly what it is. He's going to buy the
$500,
camera.
Yeah.
He's going to use that camera to make content. The content will then raise the $500 back, and he will donate the $500 to charity. That's what he's saying.
And then
Yeah.
also refund every cent that anyone donated back to them at the end of the year also.
So instead of doing that, why not just save $500 and buy the camera? Why do you have to do
Exactly.
a fundraiser?
Exactly.
It's
pay
even
it
worse,
back.
Phil.
Or
It's
why
even
didn't
worse.
Why didn't he put it on layaway?
No,
or
wait.
buy it on credit
did.
and pay it back?
The depths that Rich was going to just avoid being called an e-beggar, something only the smallest sections of his audience would even care.
This is the thing, is nobody actually really did truly care
Yeah.
if he opened a Patreon or if he did directly ask for money. But he had this weird complex in his mind that he needed to pander to a vocal minority that hated him anyway, rather than just having the balls and confidence to go after what he wanted and ask for what he wanted. And by the way, it's just very rich for Rich, of all people, to be doing this sort of thing when he tries to call you an e-bagger and other people who made money online through tips e-baggers for years, when he was just as guilty of these
Right.
supposed principle violations.
Yeah. It seems like he's against it, but he knows he has to do it. But then you have to accept it, right? Either
Yeah.
if you know you need to take money in from your audience in order to continue to operate your business, you either accept it or you say, I'm just not going to do it. Don't make the most
Exactly.
convoluted flowchart weird design of a program in your mind that you think will get you out of it. No,
Yeah.
you're asked for the money. Now you are that. Like, just accept it.
Exactly. He wants to do it and not get criticized for it.
Exactly.
And that's just never going to work. You know? Now, how
Let's-
much
Thank
are
you.
the memberships here, Phil? Are they 5 or 10?
Actually, I think that's like cheap. Actually, I don't even know. I don't even know. I
You
don't
don't
care.
even know how
I
much
don't
the
even know.
memberships
I
are?
don't know. I have no idea how much it is on this channel. I really have no idea.
Pressured
It's $4 per sub, by the way.
Okay, $4. There you go.
$4.
by
Oh,
easily
more than
trolled from.
25.
The only
Get a
people that
sub.
pissed me off, even though I expected it, is when people said they donated, and I would see like the same small group of trolls, like going around and attacking people.
It did not take long for Rich to get that money via donations. He even bought a cheaper camera that was about $140 less than expected. What was more important was that Rich's responses and continually addressing this drama was inviting more and more trolls that Rich was responding to.
But
Yeah.
this is the
No,
problem
sorry.
that Rich had, was people realized every single time you would say something about him, he would react to it. No
Right.
matter how silly it was or outrageous, he would just take the bait. Much like is one of the big criterias of being a lol cow is
Yep.
responding to everything, not being able to ignore anything.
This is
And
still
he-
what, 2012, 12ish.
Yes.
Okay, I
2012.
will say this. I also have been around as long as Review Tech, and I will admit, because I don't want to play the hypocrite here. Yes, also at this era, this was a new thing. Like, this whole drama content, baiting other creators and stuff was becoming prominent on YouTube, and a lot of people took the bait. I also took the bait. You're going to see a documentary coming out about me later this month. There was a lot of that kind of stuff back then, and I'll admit that I got hooked too. But I learned my lesson over the years, and I learned to ignore this stuff. But
Wow.
King Phil taking the bait, never, Majesty. Thou would never take the bait of a filthy troll.
Same here. I would do
You
the same
always
thing,
stay
too.
above the fray.
the thing is, back then, there wasn't a track record of how to operate, how to conduct yourself to be a content
Yeah.
creator. You didn't have people who had failed yet, so you didn't know what to do and what not to do. And sometimes you think, oh, I'm the big shit. I'll just take on every comer and I'll talk shit. And then stuff like this would blow up in your face.
Yeah.
It was awesome though, being
It
like
was
that and
great,
taking
yeah.
on all comers. You were a fucking king for years, Phil. You would just take on anybody, anywhere, any place, anytime. That's how all the detractors were born.
Yeah.
You
we were
ignored their friend request on Xbox Live, and then they
and
became
the tractor. And the
tractor.
The tractor.
Woman in your thumbnail, and we'll all be impressed by what you do.
Even the videos showing the receipts for the donations were directed towards his trolls rather than his supporters.
All I can say is, I'll never do it again.
You know, for him, again, to make his content, he always has to assume the most vile thing about a situation and portray it as fact. His opinion, which is fact because he says it to his audience, now everyone believes it, right?
But he just expects people to just trust him, believe him. Guys, come on. But that's not the standard he applies to others.
Right.
It turned out that Rich owning this new camcorder and all the turmoil that Rich invited was for naught.
I like the gameplay footage better. It's more laid back, you know.
He has got to be one of the most disgusting human beings I have ever seen from a physical appearance standpoint. And then he'll have the balls to talk about other people's appearances.
Exactly. Like, if you're going to criticize someone else, just be sure that you're not also in that category. And I don't think he has the right to criticize other people's looks. I just, sorry. Listen, I call myself an ugly monster all the time, but you don't hear me standing here also insulting other people's looks either. Like, why?
I watched him 3 days ago, Phil, making fun of you for balding when he's bald.
Yeah, he's completely bald. Completely bald. But I'm the one,
Norwood Reaper.
But again,
this or that.
you know why? Because he's jealous. Because I'm not completely bald. That's exactly what it is.
Exactly. You
He's
still
jealous
have
of your
your
life,
hair.
dude.
All right.
Okay.
This information came from a video where Rich announced that YouTube was now his full-time job. Though it grew steadily for the past 3 years, it was not until now that his YouTube channel was outperforming his job in terms of pay. And with all his time placed in his channel, the results were immediate. Month after month, his views kept doubling as his output of videos increased like never before. Everything increased. His revenue, his views, and the trolls that increasingly targeted Rich.
Okay, real quick, below is my Real Review Tech USA Twitter account.
Twitter thing. It's like all he accomplished by doing that was bringing more attention to the fake profile.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, you are giving it more credence and more legitimacy than it ever deserves. You shouldn't address stuff like that. And
I do wonder what was the prominence of getting verified on Twitter at this time, because I had a Twitter account, but I didn't give a shit about it. I didn't pay attention. I had a lot of impersonators. I didn't care. So I wonder if, like, by bringing it to the public, like, he thought, oh, maybe now Twitter will verify my account.
Oh,
so now I can avoid trolling in the future, right?
That's actually right. Yeah,
it
that
could have
might be
been a
it.
dirty scheme on his part to try and get verified. Who knows? He might have even been behind the false accounts trying to create this scheme. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
Lost to the
Seeping
sands
into
of time.
videos that hardly needed to involve them.
You're the smartest person on the planet. Doesn't matter how well spoken you are, anything, you are going to deal with trolling, and it is going to get to you.
He says this all the time,
No,
by the
but-
way, and cries every time.
But it doesn't have to get to you. That's him. Like,
Yeah.
he's letting it get to him. He's letting it affect his life. He's letting it control him. And as he's saying later on in the video, he's letting it control him to the point he's making horrible choices like doxing people and stuff like that. She should never get to that point.
Of course.
That was from his 100,000 subscriber thank you video. Discussion of trolls takes up about 1/3 of it. And though Rich states that no one is infallible when it comes to trolling, only 2 minutes later he states that he is.
The why trolls don't get to me because I know exactly what their motivation is, and they're pathetic people.
And this
The
is
story Rich is telling.
he'll say he's above getting trolled. He's matured. He knows better now.
What's even more sad about it is it's supposed to be 100,000 subscriber celebration video. Thank you. His thank you is bitching about trolls. That's not thanking your viewers. That's complaining about the repercussions of you being a content creator on the internet. No one wants to hear that shit. So why did you make the whole video about it?
And this is the ultimate mistake guys make when they start getting trolled is they start making content to cater to the trolls instead of their own people.
That's
And they're
bad.
making content that only people who hate them would care about. Let me
Right.
dispel this rumor or this lie. Well, the people who like you for your game news don't care about that. Only the people that hate you. But so many people fall into this mistake all the time.
Feed the trolls because you feel like you always have to defend yourself. Once you get to a certain point like me, I don't have to defend myself anymore. You said everything you could possibly say about me. I don't give a shit. I'm here to enjoy time with my viewers and fans, and that's all I care about. But you're right. These people, they take the bait every time. They can't stop.
Yep.
Out on Rich. From this, he deduces trolls are pathetic, unwittingly inviting their company and encouraging their existence.
Something constructive instead of, you know, hanging out with your wife or girlfriend or family, or you just going out and doing something else. You think it's a better idea to go on the internet to try to aggravate or piss off or insult someone else. That's the lamest excuse I've ever heard. That's the most pathetic thing I've ever heard.
This just, again, this story we're about to hear really goes to show what sort of a person Review Tech USA really is. I believe personally that one of the biggest indicators of a person's true character is how they treat people that are perceived as below them in the hierarchy in society. How people treat waiters and wait staff. How people treat customer service agents and people like that. And when you see how Rich treats this person, you see what sort of a scumbag he really is.
I will say one quick thing before we play it. At this time, again, to put it into context, 2012-ish is when, you know, he's 2013, he's starting to get popular. YouTubers, again, were very full of themselves. They were constantly thinking they were above others. It's true. I was a victim of, I say victim. What am I talking about? I was an asshole. I did act like that at that time too, you know? So I'm not going to be surprised if this is some story about him. Oh, this happened to me. It's some big deal because he thinks he's a hot shit, right? He's a big shot. Let's see.
Lunatic and was raging, and it shouldn't have been this way. I was not happy with the customer service I received, and that's why I'm making this video, and I gotta call him out on it.
This was the start of a series of videos that showcased how Rich was at the center of his problems, molding minor inconveniences into something larger, then directing them to his general audience, who would typically diagnose Rich as the issue. In this video, Rich discusses an issue with the return of his graphics card, the GTX 770, to the vendor Newegg. Not because there was anything wrong with it, but because he wanted a different card. A slight upgrade, which was the GTX 780. This is an extremely minor upgrade. Regardless, Rich went through with it and sent the card back, including a voucher for Arkham Origins. This, Rich details, was taped to the outside of the card box, not the shipping box. Being that it was still outside.
Do you believe that? That he put the voucher on the outside of the shipping box, and that's why it was lost?
This is already becoming so convoluted, and it hasn't even begun
I
yet.
know. I know. So my theory is that he actually used the code on Arkham Origins because he had actually been playing it on Steam that very week. So what are the chances that he paid for it out of pocket and didn't redeem the code?
If you really want to give him the benefit of the doubt, he lost it. He lost the code, right? He forgot to put it with the product and mail it back, right? I mean, what are the chances he taped it on the outside of the box? It doesn't even make sense. You're going to put it in the box. You're not going to have it loose. It makes no sense at all what's being said here.
Anyway, let's continue.
Yeah.
There is a possibility that it was lost when unpackaged at Newegg. For this reason, Rich's refund was initially voided.
Oh.
As soon as she said she was returning the item to me, I saw red. Okay, this is a $450 friggin' card that's being bounced all over.
Oh no!
$450, right? Smelling a little broke there to me.
Country, and I lost it. I started screaming, "This is fucking bullshit. Are you fucking kidding me? I've been a customer with Newegg for years, and this is I'm getting an item returned over a piece of paper."
God.
She has no control over this situation.
Right.
She's just reading the report from the warehouse where the code isn't right, so she can't process the refund. And you have Rich who's just screaming at her, every curse word in the book, stomping his feet, throwing a tantrum. And, you know, any of you who've ever worked in customer service, like I've worked in tech support and stuff, you know exactly what this is like to be on the receiving end of and how much it sucks. But Dickers just doesn't have that empathy for this person and makes it all about himself over the paltry sum of $450 not getting his refund.
And let's be honest, perhaps there are situations where a customer service agent, you get the feeling like they're trying to brush you off and don't want to help. But 9 times out of 10, they're doing the absolute best they can do from the training they've been giving, the resources they have. They're just doing their jobs. Why are you going to give them your anger? They didn't do this to you. You know, they're just doing what they're told, and this is what they can do in their power. Yelling at them does nothing but just make their day more miserable. Yeah.
But like, and then he makes a video about it, crying. Oh, like, how about you just keep the 770 and just relax, bud? By the way, if you're watching him play this Minecraft, it's like, what is he doing? He's not even building. It is like dirt, like running around.
Oh,
you watch the
so bad watching the gameplay. He's spinning around like doing 360s for no reason. Was giving you motion sickness. No, remember he's filling in holes, like he's digging holes and then filling them back in. The very definition of uselessness.
Right.
Makeshift work. It's what's
just
going on. But then he'll go, oh, Phil doesn't know how to play. Yeah, I bet.
He's just spinning in circles.
Well, I thought everything was, what UPC code are you talking about?
Look,
this is absolute bullshit.
For 20 minutes, he's taking holes out and refilling them.
It drove us crazy. And it's very pathetic. But yeah, he lacked the self-awareness to realize that's how he'd come across. And he thought, oh, I'm taking Newegg down a notch. Wow. I'm showing people that they aren't good with their customer service.
By the way, his Call of Duty, if you ever watch him playing, he just like dies the entire time, no kills. And we're like, this is the footage you picked?
This is how you don't play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Facebook. Not once, but twice. This was only one of the videos that was poorly received in October 2013. The second was titled PS4/Xbox One launch disaster.
With this, Phil? Do you know what's about to happen here?
Oh, I'm complete outsider to all this shit. I have no clue, man.
Okay.
This is infamous.
Imminent. Please share.
I got all of this information from very, very reliable sources. Okay? Yeah, I'm just gonna call them little birds. I can't even give you their gender, because if you found out any information about them, or if
wow,
he's like trying to play up desperately, like how top secret, hush hush. This is coming from the highest levels of Sony and Microsoft. You won't even believe this. But he actually had no sort. He just made all
made it up.
Yeah,
just made all this up. Yeah,
right.
Company found out any information, they would be screwed and blacklisted, and I would be screwed along with them.
Rich plays into how high profile.
Why would you be
is.
screwed? You're a YouTuber. What does it matter?
He doesn't work for any of these companies. He doesn't have any connections within the gaming industry that he's risking by putting out this info.
There were a few speculations in that video that were on the wilder side. Luckily, Rich got his wish granted. A user sent Rich's video to Shuei Yoshida on Twitter, then the unexpected happened. Yoshida, the president of Sony, responded with 2 words directed at Rich. So stupid.
He's like, I'm not even gonna mince words. I'm just gonna give you 2 words direct. So stupid.
And he lost thousands of subscribers after this. Lots of people never came back, and it honestly should have been the end of Review Tech USA. Wow. He was completely destroyed and exposed. He had no source. He made this all up. He thought he could get away with it. And then he was called out by somebody who directly knew he was totally full of shit.
Besides being humiliated by the president of Sony, nothing much happened. Rich did warn of the possibility that the information may not be 100%, and his continued success overshadowed whatever negative attention he got. It took only 6 months after this for him to hit 200,000 subscribers. And like his 100,000 sub video, when discussing his channel, Rich talks quite a bit about trolls and drama. This time the discussion took up about half of the video.
Don't let the drama get to you, because once you go down that path of getting defended...
When you're saying that, the drama is getting to you, right? Like, it's obvious the trolls are getting.
Don't make your personal problems become part of your channel.
Pause.
life now.
You know, he keeps talking about his family members, them being in the hospital, their detailed medical issues, all this stuff. Why doesn't he listen to his own advice?
Yeah.
Right.
And not make
You
that a part
can't,
of
man.
his-
You
Sorry.
gotta keep your personal problems off. And if you're having problems that you just don't feel like making a fucking video, don't make a video.
This is the safest route to content creation, but does Rich have the willpower or stability to follow through?
I took down the Patreon account.
It's because he's desperate for the approval of everybody. He
Right.
can't handle being criticized in any way. It causes him to spiral and shut down. So he does decisions that aren't best for him or his audience.
Channel where I comment on news and talk about my opinions and have a fucking blast doing it. And if that pisses you off, that either means one of two things. You're delusional or you're jealous. And if you are jealous, you need to get out of the house more.
This video was released only 6 months after his 200,000 subscriber video. It shows that the innocuous claims of e-begging still holds power over him. It also shows that, contrary to the new egg video, he is not stalwart in his beliefs or what he does. This was a
See, the
major
thing was-
criticism as
See, the thing is, it is, as June said, so nebulous. Define what e-bagging is. And see, there were people like, for instance, Keemstar had a controversy with Review Tech where he believed YouTubers who have ads shouldn't have a Patreon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's really genuinely no difference between any of these things, right? It was just weird distinctions and headcanons that people had about what money was acceptable to make and what money wasn't acceptable to make. And it just made no sense. And eventually the meta moved past it and everybody started making money online.
Right.
And there's only a very, very small group of people even then, but especially now, who would try and say somebody is an e-bagger or whatever. It's really fallen out of fashion because it was stupid to begin with.
Well, for like, I mean, DSP, you, for example, like now people are like, you're asking for money. Every streamer on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, everyone in the world, podcasts on iTunes, get money through Patreon or through ads or through whatever, super chats. And it's just like, are we all living in 2010?
No,
like,
but what's the difference between having an eBay listing and doing that?
exactly.
You know, because most people wouldn't have a problem with an eBay listing, but suddenly if Phil has a PayPal and asks for tips, ooh! So anyway.
It's
shown in
really
the
weird.
comment-
Like my detractors used to have these weird debates about, is it okay to troll Phil as long as you don't monetize the trolling? That's how far it went. It's like, so we can make awful, terrible videos about you as long as there's no ads on those videos. That's completely acceptable. But if a detractor monetizes a video, even they would fight amongst themselves. Like, what? You're still doing a horrible thing. Like,
Fred Fox would go around and threaten people, like threaten to dox them, threaten to get their videos taken down.
Really?
Yes.
yes.
He would go around
Yes.
and that's part of the reason why Sons of Kojima failed in the end was this like cringe policing of everything and this gatekeeping. And to a certain extent, it never went away. It's just different in that it's not
Right.
about monetization necessarily now because a lot of those guys are in it for a paycheck, but
Yep.
it's about other things, right? It's, oh, well, this way of doing it is wrong, or it has to be this way. Da, 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 da. So it's very, very autistic and very, very like mental illness over there.
Yeah.
Newsflash, trolls will always exist.
Exactly.
Unquote. On that same note, the following month, Rich released a similar video, a parody titled, A Review Tech USA Hater Tries to Do Gaming News.
Yo, what's going on, man? My name is Steve, and I'm here to expose that fat fuck, that piece of shit, e-begging piece of shit, Review Tech USA,
Based Steve.
and expose him.
Steve rules.
First of all, the bit's just not even funny.
No, it's
Se-
ultra cringe.
It's
Ultra cringe.
Ultra cringe.
Okay. Yeah.
Second of all, imagine trying to pretend it takes a lot of effort to do that. It takes a lot of effort to drag gameplay footage into the editor and then hit voiceover button and talk for 7 minutes,
Right.
reading for 5 and giving an opinion for 2.
Yeah.
Whoa! This is the next level of content creation.
Yeah,
Like, and he's
exactly.
like, well, why don't you do what I do? Why don't you do what I do? It's like
Some people
lots of
don't want to.
well, that's the thing. Lots of people were able to do what Review Tech did, and later on, the market became oversaturated because it
True.
was so easy to do what he did.
Right.
And then he was defeated because there were people doing what he did who were a lot more talented, a lot more charismatic, more on
That's right.
point, actually knew about tech, and then he had nowhere to go.
For the fucking bitch that he is. All right, so watch how easy it is to do news stories like that fat white Uncle Phil looking motherfucker does. Look, watch how easy it is. So I have an article right in front of me. Okay, this
Like, it's so stupid.
Did you forget how to read?
donate.
Yeah.
What's the difficulty here? I don't even understand what his point is.
He's trying to say that these people who hate him are so stupid that when they're gonna try to read a news story, they can't. It's like that would never
Right.
happen.
Like, what are you talking about? He's acting like his job of reading articles is difficult and you can't do it. Literally anyone with a grade school education can read a fucking article.
Exactly, especially when it's pre-recorded. You have an infinite amount of flubs. If you mess up a read, you can go back and redo it.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and when you take a look at how Rich was pre-recorded versus how he is live, you can see he's an absolute dummy. And he never would have made it if he had to be in a live content era. It just would not have happened because his brain doesn't operate quick enough.
Wow.
Donates World of Warcraft pet sales to Ubulu.
In the comments, Rich claims this was a parody for a different YouTuber.
What this does, what this shows through this early going, because you go, oh, well, there's nothing here that's really that crazy or that evil about Rich. But what it does show is that he should have learned these lessons a decade ago. What it shows is, like, for instance, with this Big Cheese situation, where you're not paying somebody what they are owed and you get this huge backlash, you think he would know to pay people going forward.
Exactly.
But he didn't. With these situations where he has these trolls and they're baiting him and he's getting upset, he should know to ignore them. And he did know to ignore them. He gave that advice. He's just unable to do it because he just, I don't know, either lacks impulse control or lacks the understanding to actually apply what he says. But if he had just learned these lessons early on, he wouldn't be in the situation he's in today.
Rich, circa 2015, was because of a deal that went wrong between content creator Big Cheese and Rich.
The one thing that Rich won't do is part with money.
Yeah.
He'll come up with any other type of proposal rather than part with money.
But hear this, $200. Okay, I won't pay you, but I'll do 6 months of promotion. But if companies are offering money for spots, $200 is nothing.
And by the way, $200 that you can't give somebody, it's smelling real broke in here, man. Like, what are you, in high school? You can't settle a $200 debt?
Yeah.
Let's continue.
It's the same pattern of behavior from the Newegg thing. He thinks he's a big shot on YouTube, so I don't have to abide by any actual agreements, rules. I'm above all of it. You know, you should just, hey, tough. If I want this, if I want to do this, break out of this agreement, just, you know, accept it. And I should get everything I want and tough shit to everybody else.
How can he plead poverty when, you know, he had this 1 million subscriber channel for so long and he had these streams were successful with super chats? Rich has wasted so much money on tech that he never needed, or buying multiple versions of consoles, just absolute excess. And then he cries when the money dries up and he just hands us out. Ooh, sad, very sad.
Additional 6 months of promotion. That, or he sends the PC back, which Big Cheese would have to pay the shipping for.
And Big Cheese is saying he needs that money to pay his bills.
Right.
You know, Rich doesn't care. Rich has no empathy for this guy's situation, that he might miss out on his internet bill or he might be short on rent or whatever. Rich just only cares about himself.
This disagreement alone birthed the Big Cheese Crusaders, random users that formed under this drama.
Oh, God.
What are your thoughts, still on the
You
this
don't
the
like
Big
it?
Cheese Crusaders.
Because he's not a hot shit. He's not a tough guy. He knows this guy's going to call him out for it publicly. But when you actually spawn an entire new group of haters as a result of your hubris, your amazing feeling of self-worth that you're so much better than everyone else, you got to get a double stack of chips removed because that's pretty ridiculous. But at the same time, it's karma.
To Rich in whatever ways they could. Rich saw only a glimpse of the chaos to come and buckled under the pressure.
I deal with trolling on a daily basis. I deal with nonsense
I love
on a
how
daily
he
basis.
makes himself the victim, right? Ooh, I get trolled every day. This is what's going on. The thing about these death threats, right? When you get a death threat over the internet, typically somebody who's actually going to kill you isn't going to give you a warning ahead of time. And this is the thing is everybody gets death threats online. Yeah. Everybody who makes content from time to time gets a death threat, but you just disregard it and move on with your life. But Rich has to broadcast this to a wider audience and give this reaction, which guess what? Is going to lead to you getting more death threats because they know that it's going to get this big reaction from you where you clutch, oh, they're threatening me. And it's not to justify them threatening him. This is just the way the world works, right? But Rich is just like, by the way, Rich tries to say the police told him to shout this out and make a video about it, which is the last thing the police will ever instruct you to do.
Right. No, right. You want to know why I know that? Because I've gotten death threats. I have not publicly disclosed the details of the death threat. I call the police. I had the conversation. They will tell you directly. Do not speak of it. Do not give any attention because that's exactly what this kind of person wants. All you're going to do is make it worse for yourself. That's exactly the conversation I had with my local PD when it first happened. So this is complete bullshit. If he's saying, oh, they told me to make this video, he is so full of shit. He's looking for sympathy.
Of course they wouldn't.
Like, this is not a credible death threat. Like, whatever.
It's a child.
But the message that you're seeing here
still
is a message that I received on Facebook. When you threaten me is when shit gets real.
The purpose of this threat
he's such a tough guy. Like, what were you able to do to the guy? This is when shit gets real.
I'm going to make a video.
Whoa.
Oh,
you made a YouTube video playing the victim and collecting AdSense. Like, and that's ultimately what that's all about.
It's a sympathy video. He wants sympathy from his viewers.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
To both scare Rich and cancel his convention showing. But as Rich draws on, a claim he makes about the advice given from law enforcement is not so believable. This sentiment was shared on Drama Alert that was reporting the story.
What a title, by the way. Someone threatened me and I need your help.
This
total
sentiment,
clickbait, 100%.
Right.
was shared on Drama Alert that was reporting the story.
Now, Tech USA said that he went to the police and the police told him to make a video.
Whatever the case, Rich on his Facebook was firing back, claimed that the trolls that went after him will be made an example of.
It's like, how cringe to say they're going to be made an example of. No, they're not.
What are you going to do? They're anonymous trolls on the internet. How are you going to make an example of them? The FBI will not mobilize a strike force to take down your trolls, Rich. They're not coming. They're not kicking the windows in dramatically like an action movie. You have no power here. How many people who have had Keemstar as like the referee in these online quarrels, debates, have ever had a good outcome? Honestly, have you ever seen like the happy ending from that? No, all it does is creates more drama and more problems for you when you get into these kind of arenas, you know? So this is the worst possible thing you could ever do is I want to bring this drama now to a public forum of another YouTuber. Dude, all you're doing is you're airing all the dirty laundry out. Everyone's going to know about you. You know, you're associated with drama. You're just going to make it worse for yourself. This is the worst possible choice he could have done.
And the one I'm going to be talking about the most, okay, is cyber criminal investigation.
He calls it my most important sponsor ever.
Yeah.
That's the
because they're hackers he's hired to go after the trolls. Which is really like it's Nietzschean, isn't it? Battle not with monsters lest thou become a monster.
Yeah.
And if thou art to gaze into the abyss gazes into thou also.
Something fire with fire, effect. Everyone gets burned.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he had his people sign up to this guy's website with their information. Brilliant.
What are the odds? What really happened here? Is Rich so angry that people are trolling him on the internet that he doesn't care that this guy is a criminal? Or was he actually too ignorant and stupid to look into his past before he agrees to this association, right? Like, either one's equally bad, but I'm just curious, like, what actually happened.
I think it's both. I think he was so mad and so desperate that he never even looked into this guy's background.
Here is what happened with that. I forgot about it. I swear on my son, I forgot about it.
Yeah, you forgot.
Like, it's just a nasty thing, I think, to do.
Yeah. Not only are you essentially doing completely immoral, likely illegal things, you're also putting other people's lives and livelihoods at risk, and you don't even know if the person you're doxing is the right person.
But what the hell? I'm tired of this prick. Unquote.
I never doxed anybody. That was the funny thing. I personally did not get anyone's information.
So.
Why does he have to be scratching his leg the entire time? Is he doing something else down there or what?
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on there.
Well, you know what they will say is that that's a nervous tick. That's a sign that he's responding. He's telling a lie, and this is his tell on that when he's telling a lie is he has something nervous going on down there. That's exactly what that is.
Good point. Really good point.
It is what it is.
And the entire time, he, instead of actually like admitting wrongdoing, he always tries to come up with some justification as to why it's okay. And at the same time, he also, after people call him out on that reason is bullshit, he then completely lays down and rolls over and begs for mercy. And it's like, buddy, can you just be accountable? Can you just be an adult? But that's how he gets away with it for so long.
Sorry, the chat wanted.
He does bad things, and not only does it affect him negatively, but it affects everyone around him in the sphere of anyone who's been associated with him, and he doesn't have any self-awareness that this is going to happen. It's terrible.
He talks about like the Phil cycle or the Boogie cycle or the Wings cycle, but he completely ignores the fact he has a cycle as well, where he keeps feeding into it and getting these negative reactions over and over and over again, and he takes no responsibility for it whatsoever.
That's over the years. I will openly fess up and admit, I don't want to be a hypocrite here. I have taken troll bait. I have done similar things to this. The difference is I didn't then go out of my way to literally criticize everyone else who does it. I made the mistake. I changed for the better. I move on, but I'm not going to sit here and say, wow, you look at Rich who does it all the time. Look at Boogie who does it all the time. The only reason I'm doing this here tonight is because this motherfucker has done this for 10 years. He's talked shit about me 10 fucking years, and I held my tongue. So now it's time for my chance to finally vent on this guy. So now he gets it all tonight, and that's why we're doing this.
Hell yeah, man.
Dia. Unquote. It's difficult to state what effect this video had on the Big Cheese Crusaders.
So Phil, I think, will have a really good insight on this particular portion.
And I think they have something awesome on their hands, and now I could see why this game has been praised by so many people.
Rich in the video praised the game, but it was only in the description and the comments that he stated he was sponsored by Square Enix to make this video.
Oh,
that in itself wasn't the entire reason this review was somewhat controversial. It was Rich's prior, unpaid statements about the game.
And they try too hard to be different, and the outcome is games like Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 14, and the other garbage they come out with. They're trying to figure out.
So not only did he not even play it because he was still on the first level of the character he was playing as, but he's also hating on it, but now it's all of a sudden, oh, it's the greatest game ever made.
What a shameless scumbag. You know, Phil doesn't take, sponsorships like that from game companies or free copies anymore because it leads to implications of impropriety like that. And it's obvious that that's what happened. When Rich wasn't being paid, it was a piece of garbage. As soon as his pockets got lined, what a great MMO, everybody. I can't believe it. I thought these games were bad, but now I've magically learned to love him.
Well, as we know, Rich is a well-renowned MMO player.
Stickers just learns nothing over the years. It hasn't grown at all.
Yep.
Rich played himself trying to get some sort of moral high ground about donations while taking donations. Just silly, and played himself out of thousands of dollars a month.
Keem is good at doing this. He creates a win-win situation for himself. Either Rich says, I will never do a Patreon, so now, haha, it's a guy I don't like, he's not going to make money. Or if Rich ever goes back on that and makes a Patreon, now I got drama videos to make about this two-faced liar. So he does this constantly, and people fall for it every effing time. Do not have any association with this man. He's always going to turn it into something to benefit him.
Belted Keemstar.
Look, you manipulated the situation. You lied 3 times. You're not making a Patreon, so I'll take it as a win.
Dude, don't
Anyone
even
else?
try.
Take it as a win.
Take it as a win. There it is. Ring it up, Keemstar dub.
Keemstar dub.
Say whatever the fuck they want. I'll take it as a win.
Yeah, of course you're gonna take it as a win.
But he still thinks he has a moral high ground over you, Phil. He thinks he has a moral high ground over everybody. He's just
I'm not like Phil Burnell. No way am I like Phil Burnell. You're right. We're watching this. You're way fucking worse than Phil Burnell, Rich.
Yeah. If it's wrong when he does it to you, how can it be right when you do it to him?
Right.
Like, this is the thing. Like, this is the golden rule.
He is burning down everything around him with his actions and doesn't have any self-awareness that he's doing it. He just thinks it's fair because they did it to me, I'll do it back. Dude, there's going to be nothing left. It's going to be an empty war zone.
An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind.
That's right.
Rich's outbursts continue to encourage his trolls.
But he's surrendering the moral high ground when he goes to threatening violence and using slurs.
Yep.
True. Yep.
Let's meet somewhere and we could quote unquote discuss it.
Don't challenge. Don't ever challenge people. I bet you can't do this. I bet you won't do this. Well, they will.
Yep.
You know, like, buddy, settle down.
When he says slurs, it was a different time.
Yeah.
I'm a changed man. When somebody else says slurs, Nazi, cancel them, take away their livelihood, smear their name.
The same year, I think.
In Rich's apology, he still got important information about PewDiePie incorrect, like stating that PewDiePie wore an SS officer's uniform when the costume he wore was clearly not of German origin.
I have a hat that's a parody of M. Bison's hat from Street Fighter.
Okay, yeah.
I literally put it on when I play with M. Bison playing Street Fighter. Yet people still say dumb shit like it's a Nazi hat. Dude,
it could just as easily be communist coded. It could be North Korean coded, right?
Sure, right.
It doesn't necessarily, like, lots of dictators wear caps like that.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's Nazi coded, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I've calmed down. I understand that you want to make peace and that you're sorry. Olive branch out there if you show your flag history.
Rich, now willing to show his flagging history, pulled it up for all to see.
See, he was so desperate. I just want to point out, he was so desperate to impress Keemstar, to just get a crumb of clout from Keemstar's table, that he was willing to completely humiliate himself, reveal that he went against his stated principles, reveal that he was a liar and that he had lied to his audience who trusted him about this stuff. He was willing to do all of that just to seek Keemstar's approval.
Again, every documentary I watch has Keemstar in it. That has anything to do with YouTube. And it's like every single interaction with Keemstar is like, didn't work out in your favor, didn't work out in your favor, didn't work out in your favor. How did you not know that interacting with this man was going to blow up in your face badly? It's like...
Like possibly increasing motivation, tragedy struck Rich's life, making it more difficult to quit, or do anything else for that matter, as this happening required his entire attention.
Crazy when he says that he didn't want to be that guy. Let's go to the clip, Fight with Mom.
But Rich, you've been doing it.
All right, I can't.
Pause the stream. You know, like, mute it. Hey, guys, be right back. No. All in front of the show.
What do you make of this clip so far, Phil?
I mean, I had people coming in telling me the cops are outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're getting swatted. We got to go outside. So I have a plan in place. So definitely, this is not professional. He needs to have a way to handle it. Really, out of all the things we're seeing in this documentary, I would say the number one worst thing so far was the actual doxing. And number two, this is probably the second worst clip we've seen of everything here.
Definitely. Alrighty.
He knows he has tons of trolls. He knows he has these people who've done malicious things to him before and have done things to not only hurt him, but all the people around him in his circle. So he never learns his lesson, which, as we've already talked about, that's true lolcow behavior.
Yeah,
they don't learn. They just keep making the same mistakes over and over. They never improve. And that's why people find them entertaining to watch, because you always will get the same ridiculous result from a situation they totally should have learned from in the past. So I don't even care about his living situation with his parents and who owns the house or what. But why are you talking about this on your public stream? People ask me this. I actually can add a lot to this discussion right now. As a content creator for 16 years, all the time people say to me, well, I don't understand, Phil. If things are financially tight with you right now, why don't you go get another job? You guys have said that on your stream because I've seen it. Okay, you said that. There is no way that I could quit this job and go get another job. I couldn't even get 2 jobs right now that would get as much money as this me doing this full time. That's just the truth. I haven't been out of the job market now for 13 years. It was late 2010, so almost 14 years. No one's going to hire a 42-year-old guy at a high-paying job when I'm out of the job market for that long. I would be shooting myself in the foot to quit this job and go out and try to get 1 or 2 other jobs, okay? 100%. That's why. Now, here's the thing. I love my job. I make good money doing my job. I don't want to stop doing my job. I'm not driving myself into a rut or a dead end. In this case, it sounds to me like what's going on with Rich. He's got himself worked into a corner.
And that's the thing is you do make good money doing this. And I think that's some of the criticism people have is they wish you had more of a prosperity mindset and an abundance mindset instead of a scarcity mindset of being worried about your bills and your costs, and instead be more grateful for the abundance and prosperity that you have.
And you know where that comes from? 4 years ago. I almost lost everything. I had to go through a bankruptcy in order to save everything. I was at the verge of losing everything. And there were weeks when literally if I didn't have a good stream, I can't even go out and afford the groceries this week. I can't pay this payment this week. And my mind has been endlessly stuck there because it's so dumb. You're right. If I have a day or 2 days where my streams are bad, I'm not going to go out of business and lose everything. I'm not. I publicly said that to everyone too. It's just that I'm so stuck in this rut mindset that, oh my God, I was there at one point. I don't want it to go back there, right? But for him, he's stuck.
That's the problem that I fucking have, because at least you fucking try. You're working hard. I have a problem when somebody refuses to put in the hours and then fucking cries and complains. That's when I have fucking...
A lot of people, this happens to them when they hit their midlife crisis, right? A lot of people this happens to. The problem is, he's been the one making fun of everyone for a decade. So now that it's happening to him and his miserable time is happening, right? I've always said this. For Rich, a day when someone has a bad day is his good day because he's going to make a ton of money on that, right? But now, Rich, every day is a bad day for you. So every day you're seeing what's happened in the last decade and how it's turned into what you created this situation with your actions, never learning. Why do you think I'm here? If you didn't make fun of me for the last 10 years, would I have done this? I wouldn't even care about you. I wouldn't fucking say a word about you. But instead, all of your karma has now turned back on you. Again, it seems like this is just karma. This is what has happened over a decade of bad behavior turns into the next bad thing. This is a meme on the internet, is that Phil outlasts them all. But the ultimate thing about this is I don't have to lift a finger. You understand? When people are toxic, they're going to self-poison themselves to the point where they're eventually going to bottom out anyway. I don't have to waste my time and my effort and my life and my positivity on these people because eventually it's all going to come back to bite them anyway. I'm hands off, and I'm the one who seems to still be going good.
I will say this: we do that, but we could get paid.
All right, let's go back to the documentary.
These are creators that have long lost their original supportive audiences and have them replaced with viewers who mock and troll them without end. These are known as lolcows, and Rich was quickly on the path to exist only as one, especially when entering needless feuds like he did with Does It Play at the end of 2023.
Oh, here we go.
This all started from this video.
At least, if you're lucky, you may just get an unfinished version of the game that might be playable but broken. A lot of times you get these games home.
Rich was making the argument that current-day games are all released as a broken mess that require immediate patches in order to exist in a playable state.
True.
The same day of this video's release, Rich streamed and was challenged on this premise.
Does it play? Right here, they're real.
Rich admits defeat.
And if anyone is responsible for Phil pressing the eject button, it's you fucking weirdos. And it's not the whole detractor community. A lot of them like me. But there is a portion that despise me.
Rich has a history of talking about lolcows.
Like, yes, I talk about Phil in 90% of my streams.
In this situation, Rich is proposing that a consequence of an upcoming documentary on the infamous creator Darkside Phil by documentarian Mike Klum would be that the detractors of Phil will need to slow the production of content down, or they discourage Phil from dropping the project. Engaging in this conversation with detractors of Phil is a terrible idea for a multitude of reasons. First is that as Rich criticizes Phil, it becomes apparent that many of his criticisms are also applicable to himself. Second, he is engaging and antagonizing trolls.
I don't do that. Like, I don't even know. I know they exist, right? When am I ever going to do, oh, fuck you, Stuart Hogan, fuck you. That's the worst thing you could do. Because all you're doing, you're giving them the attention they want, and now they're after you even worse. I just ignore them. And that's the best part, because if I ignore them, you know that's what makes them see the worst, is that I just won't give them the time of day. It's not important enough to me to address these people. But for him, now, not only does he have his own trolls, time to pick a fight with Phil's trolls too, because I talk about Phil so much, might as well take on his troll. Like, this guy is something else. He's a piece of work. I don't know.
Because I have to admit,
I remember this.
Is I overestimated that there was going to be a troll war. Okay, I'll take that L. But even down to the fact that the trolls blamed me, which I screen capped, for him canceling the Mike Klum documentary.
Rich was on a warpath, and things went from bad to catastrophic. Rich had very recently given Jay a PC, though it was clear that this was for work. Rich was using this as leverage to not commit to the payment he was promised. What's also interesting about this computer is that Rich cared so little about it initially that he was going to give it away to Darkside Phil.
So I'm literally still looking at the computer right now. Eventually, I have a friend, another friend up in Canada I'm going to give it to.
The reason Jay got the PC was because Darkside Phil refused it, possibly fearing that it may have spyware. This escalated well into
No, that's
March.
not true. Oh, no,
5th,
June, I
tweeted,
correct you.
quote,
That's not why I declined it. I declined it because I would not accept something from an asshole who treated me like shit for 10 years for a way to him to then justify all of that and be like, see, I was nice to him. That was exactly why he wanted to give that to me. I never accused him of having spyware on it whatsoever. That came out from other sources.
It just
and
so
stuff.
happened that it did have spyware on it.
Right.
Allegedly, according to Jay or whatever.
You know?
I demand
I
a
want
big
to say that-
correction in this video from June. I'm just kidding.
It was this tweet of Jay's that possibly reignited the flame, stating that he was going to do an interview with Darkside Phil, but it was going to be a positive one because he was sick of all the negativity. Rich sought to ruin this opportunity by exposing the time Jay talked negatively about Phil. Rich then went on to tweet that Jay tried to extort him over the phone.
This was Jay said he was going to do an interview with me. Is that what they just
With
said?
you, and be positive.
That never happened. It was
No.
what was going to be was a conversation between him and me, just a hangout session. Like I said, let's not talk about Rich because that's drama that involves what's going on with you personally.
Yeah.
It'll be a cool hangout stream. We'll just talk about games. We'll talk about being creators, whatever you want to do. It was not supposed to be like an in-depth interview about anything. It was supposed to be like a casual conversation. And then I found out later he was saying to his followers in publicly, oh yeah, it's going to be an interview with DSP and all of this and all of that. So he was snaking me.
Did you hear today,
even matter.
Phil?
It
Jay said that he sent Rich nudes of himself.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't even want to know. I really don't even want to know at this point. This is like
sent
what?
Rich pictures of his ball sack and penis.
No joke.
apparently.
Here's the big part. You ready, boys?
Here's the best part.
Are you ready?
The Kino Casino was covering Rich's history and watching his live streams heavily during the month of April. As it turned out, Rich was watching them as well. Rich has now completed his transition, not to how he wanted to see himself as a respected content creator that creates long-form passion projects that are beloved, but as the laughingstock that constantly shifts in his intentions, how he views his relationships, and how he sees his future. That is hard to see as anything but grim.
It's over.
It's
Wow.
a sad, sad story, man.
All right. This is it. This is the true finale. Okay? Right now. Because what we have here is the final stack of chips for Rich. And what we have to do is we have to break it down, and we have to say, for every time that Rich sucked a cucumber for money, for every time that Rich kissed a cock for money, for every time that Rich took his shirt off like a lol cow, but then made fun of other people for being lol cows, there you go. We're going to take a ginormous amount of chips away from him for you guys, exposing him for what he really was, and finally allowing the internet to see who he was all along. He was 1 million subs insulated from the ire of the internet, and you guys single-handedly, with your exposing all his controversies, turned that around and let the internet see who he really is for who he is. So that's your stack right there, and that's actually the biggest chunk I've taken out of any stack tonight, because you deserve it, guys.
Huge support.
Thank you.
We have this left.
Yes.
We have this left. The finale.
Okay.
June the King, not only making this documentary, but destroying Rich on Twitter for being a liar and hypocrite about doxing, and then today also calling him out for stuff. You know, there you go. That is June the King's stack.
And saying he was felted in his tweet after the video was done.
Right. One chip left. This is what Rich has left in his life. Now, here's the thing. I would like to say I am a person who believes that people can improve and change for the better, that people can learn from their mistakes. And maybe after having watched not only this documentary by June the King, but hearing someone like me talk about this tonight, I'm trying to help this man, okay? I want him to get better. I want things to be better for his family. I want him to make good content. He has one chip left, and he has a chance to turn his life around, but he has to become a better person, and he hasn't. We just saw in that entire thing, he makes the same mistakes. He never admits fault. He always has the same problems. Unless you change who you are, you will never improve and get out of this rut, Rich. I know you can't be employed. Otherwise, that's why you're still doing YouTube. You hate it. That's why you look like this. But you have to change as a person. Can you do it? Can you stop every day making yourself the victim, eating the edibles to feel better and doing these awful things? Or can you finally say, you know what? I'm going to fess up. I'm going to apologize for the awful person I've been for the last decade. I'm going to stop making these mistakes, and I'm going to move forward positively. Can you do that? Whoa. Oh, wait. Oh, one final thing. For 10 years of you fucking with me and making my life miserable for your personal gain, I'm taking your final chip as the King's tax, you motherfucker.
Yeah!
You're fucking felted, bitch. Felted. You're done. Because the thing is, even if I left you this fucking chip, you wouldn't improve your life. You had the chance. You never took an opportunity to improve. You insulated yourself from any criticism, but now you've been exposed. You're done. This is my chip, and I'm going to wear this proudly in my fucking background from now on because I earned it.
He earned it. God, what an incredible place to end our reaction event. Great monologue from Darkside Phil, the King, taking that final chip as the King's tax.
The chat's going crazy. This is the most viewed stream I've ever done on YouTube. No surprise, right? I mean, why wouldn't it be? It's not the usual kind of content I do. And again, please remember, everyone, this is all in good fun. This is not serious.
Of course,
please don't go after Rich or his family members or anyone. We have to end with that because with great power comes great responsibility. We have a lot of views tonight. Please be nice. I feel like he has a chance to maybe turn his life around in reality, but I don't know if he really will. But thank you for being here tonight on DSP Reacts, for watching. You guys, you were amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. I mean, obviously, this is one of the best streams I've ever done for many different reasons, obviously. And yeah, I mean, everyone loves it. I definitely look forward to doing more stuff with you guys in the future.
For sure, man. Definitely. And guys, our clip channel, Casino Clips, go check it out. Us on Kick. It's great seeing you all here. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
And wish you all the best. And, you know, try not to get felted. That's all I have to say, man. You know, you got to. All right,
everyone.
Don't get felted.
Peace.